What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Painted Lines gaming session. Today, we're going to be starting a series where I try to get good at Age of Empires 2. Age of Empires 2 is a game that I grew up playing and had a lot of fun with a lot of years ago. And I haven't really played it in a long time, and I realized that it's still a game that's around. There's a competitive scene for it. And so I've been playing some ranked games lately. And I thought this might be some good content for the off season. And so here we go. I'm going to start trying to stream some of my games just to give you guys a little insight. And hey, maybe you'll rediscover a love for a game like this as well. Maybe we could even have some sort of Painted Lines tournament. And so I'm going to be playing in the red. I am the Ethiopians, and I'm playing just a random guy ranked online. He's the Saracens. I am at 790 ELO rating. He is at a 950, so he's a better player than I am. And so we'll see how this is going to go. And so the Ethiopians are an archer civilization. I like to play as archer civs, typically at lower rating levels, like I'm in right now. Most people play as cavalry civilizations, and so you get rushed by scouts early. And so I just like to be a little different, do something a little different. And so I'm following what's called a build order right here. You can find them online, but this is an archer build order, and it literally just tells you step by step where to send your villagers, what order to build your buildings as you advance through the dark and the feudal age. So I'm not the best at them. As you'll probably see, I'll have some inefficiency here, but so we're continuing to scout with our scout here, find our resources. We found 2 of our piles of gold. We found both of our piles of stone. We should have a 3rd pile of gold somewhere. And we've already found both of our boars and our sheep. And so I'm going to start to head out to try to find my opponent here in just a moment. So let's speed it up a little bit. So we've got 4 on wood, we've got 7 on food. Everything's going just the way that we want it to right now. We're going to drop a mill. We're going to drop a house so we don't get housed, so we can continue to move. Boom, there's our last pile of gold. And now we're going to head out, or we should be heading out. But he brought his scout in to try to mess with me. And so now we're going to chase his scout all the way across the map. We're going to try and take his scout out. And that's going to end up not going well for me because he's going to run under his town center and I'm not paying attention and my scout's now dead. And so I found his base, but I don't have any idea what he's going to be doing now. I'm flying blind. So we'll slow it down a little bit here, get back to our normal speed. I'm building my 2nd lumber camp. I'm about to click up to feudal age in just a minute. We're still continuing to harvest sheep, and you can see he's back harassing my villagers, but my villagers aren't really scared. We'll fight him off because he is low on hit points anyways. So as he goes out here, I'm researching Loom, which gives my villagers more hit points. I'm expecting that scout rush. And then after I research Loom, I'm going to be clicking up to the feudal age. So as you can see over here, I have a slight eco lead. I have 20 workers. He has 19. So we've got a 1-person eco lead. We have clicked up to feudal, but he clicked up before us. So he's going to hit feudal age first, which is when he can start making scouts. And so we're sending a couple of villagers to gold to mine some gold. It takes gold and wood to make archers. And you can see we're starting to seal off part of our base here, building some walls. We're expecting that scout rush to happen. We're also dropping our barracks as we get up to feudal age. So as soon as we get there, we can build an archery range and we can begin to make archers. And so we'll be at feudal age in 1 minute. He's going to be there at 35 seconds. Again, he is ahead of us. And he is really heavy on wood, which is a poor play by him. He has way too many villagers on wood at this point in the game. And so as we're 30 seconds out here from feudal age, he just now hit it, so he can begin to mass scouts. And I'm going to start dropping walls right here. As you can see, we're going to start trying to wall our resources in while we wait. If we take off the fog of war, we can go check on his base real quick. You can see that he's beginning to wall a little bit of his base, but it's not as big of a concern for him playing as an archer or as a scout civ. He is going to be the aggressor early. Got a little bit of idle time here. I've got a villager just standing around, which is not ideal. That's just wasted resources. But we're 13 and a half minutes into game time here. I'm getting my eco upgrade, upgrading my lumber camp double bit axe so we can chop lumber faster. And we're going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit again here while nothing's really going on. We've got another idle villager here. Now he's coming. We're going to finish walling the front of our base here. And you can see we've gone with double archery ranges, and we're beginning to produce archers out of both of them. And we have a few spearmen for the anticipated scout rush. So over here on the corner, we've got a villager that's building a house. The idea is we're going to try to wall in this portion of the base right here to prevent his scouts from getting in. We know we're good over here. We're finishing this wall, but we're open on this side. And so we really want to try to finish out, and we're going to complete this wall here so he's unable to get into our base. So we're going along. We're still producing archers. We've got 5 archers right now. We've got 5 spearmen, and now we can see his scouts. They're coming, and unfortunately, they are going to get in before we're able to finish walling our base. And so he's in with 5 scouts. We're going to have to run our villagers back. He kills one villager. He's not able to get the other one. It was close, and now he's going to go running around the back of our base. Now, in this fog, I can't actually see him while I'm playing, so I can't see that portion there. Now he's gone completely, but he's still running around our base, as you can see. I can't see what's in the shadows. So now I'm going to send 2 spearmen to protect this villager and try to close up these walls as he appears over here at my wood line. And this is a slow reaction for me. I'm slow to get those villagers out. I should have dropped walls to wall them in as soon as he got in the wall, but I didn't. And so he's able to pick off another villager right now. And now I'm forced off of this wood to send all of these villagers back to my town center. So at this point, I've got spearmen chasing him, but they can't keep up. I've got a few archers that are out as well, and he's going to go after my gold. And so this time I actually get a quick wall on one side. I try to quick wall the other side, but I miss. But now he's just running circles around my base. Now what I should be doing is splitting these scouts up, or these spearmen up. I can't keep up with his mobility. I should be splitting him up, but he's going to head back over here to the wall. I click this villager away, but she is going to go down. Again, that's a bad play by me, but we'll finish clearing up his rush here with our archers, and we'll clear up this last one that's trying to get in. And so now we have stopped his scout rush. He killed several villagers, but he had some significant town center idle time. He's got some idle villagers, and so we're only down 2 villagers, and we've got a 10-person lead in the military. He has no military at the moment. And so we're going to speed it up again while we wait here. See what happens. So now we have a spearman out here in front of our base patrolling, just so we have early notice if he's coming. We're still producing a few archers, and now we're going to drop a blacksmith and a market, and we're going to start thinking about clicking up to castle age so we can upgrade our army. And he has allowed his eco lead to disappear, and now you can see we're moving out our archers. We're going to go try to find some counter damage. And so we come down to his base, still producing villagers, but he's already full walled. We've got a few spearmen here with our archers, 10 archers, 3 spearmen, just to try to do a little bit of damage. And we're searching around, but fortunately he's pretty walled. At the same time, we're getting wheelbarrow now, and then we're going to click up to the castle age so we can upgrade our archers and our spearmen. So we're just going to keep wandering around the base here. We're looking for a hole, but we're not finding one. We've just got this spearman camped outside his gates right now, so we can tell if he moves out, if he comes after us. Now we see there's another gate that we're going to have to worry about. And so we're coming up on his wood line here. We don't see it, but we decide to go ahead and just, instead of coming around, I just assume he's full walled. We decide we're going to take out the gate, and we're going to try to get into his base. as we've clicked up to Castle Age now, but he is 2 minutes ahead of us on his Castle Age time. So his units are going to upgrade long before ours can. So we come in, we're going to try to pick off a villager here. He is going to get away, but we get one villager kill, and now he is up in Castle Age. We are still 1 minute and 50 seconds out, but we're just going to start to patrol around the outside of his base. We have a score lead now. We have an 8-person villager lead, and we have 15 military units versus none for him. And so we're going to take out another villager, dodge his town hall, and we're just going to continue to work into the back of the base here as he is queuing up knights now. So he has 2 knights on the field. He's creating 3 more. We can't see this yet, but he's walling us in here, creating a trap for us that we're not going to be able to get through to his wood line. But he leaves his villagers there, and so we are going to get a villager kill, and we're going to come up here to his wood line, and we're going to try to pick off a few more. So there goes another villager. There goes a 3rd villager. So I would call this a very successful attack. But now his knights come in, and so we're going to see the knights coming right now. We know that we're toast. We can't outrun this. We can't outfight this, which is unfortunate because we're 6 seconds away from being able to upgrade these units, but we're going to consider that a win in terms of damage trade-offs. We forced him to create knights. We now have 11 more villagers than he does, and so our eco is booming, and we're still creating archers, and we're going to start researching upgrades for them. Our spears are now pikemen. The Ethiopians get a free upgrade to pikemen when they hit the next age. And so that is always a nice addition when you're playing a cavalry civ. And so we'll speed it up again here just a little bit. And here come his knights. So he's got knights trying to get in. We start to build house walls right here behind our palisades to reinforce. And we're going to move our pikemen out the gate. And we're going to try to keep him on the defensive, keep him away from our walls. We know he's just going to run around to the other side here, but we are full walled, so we're not terribly concerned about it. And we're just going to pursue with our pikemen and our archers as we continue to mass troops. Our archers are now upgraded to crossbowmen. And as he tries to come in here, again, we're just going to build these quick house walls behind that don't let him get through. And he commits to the wall. The villager, just in time, once the hammer hits the foundation for the first time, nobody can walk through the foundation. And so we got pretty fortunate there because I didn't do a very good job of managing that. But we'll chase him with our pikemen, and he's going to have to run away. So we've got some idle villagers here. And we get them back to work. And so right now we've got 16 on food, we've got 11 on wood, 6 on gold, and 6 on stone. We're trying to get the stone to be able to build a castle. We're preemptively building these house walls back here in the corner to keep him from getting in. And we assume that's where he's coming, is he's going to come down here with his knights. And so we go looking, and we are not finding anything, which is a little concerning because now we don't know where his knights are at. But we're just going to continue to build army. We're not producing out of our archery range like we should be at this point in time, because we have plenty of resources. We really just need to keep producing and click up to the next age. And so we will speed it up again here while we wait. We've taken the score lead again. We have an eco lead. We have a military lead. This would be prime time for us to move out, but we're a little concerned about it, about his army and not knowing where it's at. We assume he has a lot of knights. And so as you can see right here, he's able to get into the back of our base, but we dropped down a couple of houses to protect our wood line. And that's going to do a good job. Our archers are going to be able to go and clean it up. And so now he is back down to 3 military. We still have 20. We move our pikemen over here just to guard this gap. And again, we really should be moving out here, but we're just really uncertain about what his base might look like at the moment. We're just afraid of that mobility that he has, that mobility advantage. And so we're going to drop some houses here to finish walling our base back in. And we're getting some upgrades for our infantry so they can move faster. They're never going to keep up, but hopefully they can stay a little closer. Our eco lead is dwindling. We only have a 2 villager lead now. I suspect that's because he is on 2 or 3 town centers, and we have only just dropped our 2nd town center, so we can't make villagers as quickly as he's able to. And so now we're going to move out, and we're going to come up here on this hill, and we're going to try to drop a castle. A forward castle out here. It'll give us early warning if he's coming. We don't know there's a siege workshop there, but now we do. And the siege workshop has 5 scorpions in it, which are deadly against infantry that's in close quarters. And so we've got to be careful here. We drop our foundation, we chase off his knights, and we're going to try to build this. But now his scorpions on garrison, and they can wreak havoc on us. They do splash damage, but he does not focus fire on our archers like he probably should have. He should be coming after our archers with his knights because pikemen counter knights. And so we're actually going to decisively win this engagement. And the castle will go up. So we have 18 military versus 0, but we have lost our eco lead. We are now down 3 villagers. And so, but we're going to drop this castle, and then we're going to go up to Imperial Age because we just need the castle to allow us to advance. So we have castle number 1. It's very important to build buildings on a hill. You get attack and defense bonuses when you are on a hill. And so he's going to have to attack uphill to get to our base now. And we can see, I don't see this in game, but we can see on the replay here that he is constructing a castle. It is in the valley, so he's going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to wars. And now we're going to drop a 3rd town center out here between this stone and this gold so we can continue producing villagers. And so we can mine that stone to potentially get another castle. So we still have not clicked up to Castle Age, and that's probably just neglect on my part. We have the resources that we need to click up. There's no reason not to have clicked up to Imperial, but we haven't. But we are walling out here. We're starting to chop through the trees. We're a little nervous about him coming back in. And you can see now we've clicked up to Imperial Age, and so in 3 minutes we will get to Imperial Age first as we continue to produce military. We have 34 military units to his 0, but he has 72 villagers to our 59. So in hindsight, having known this, this is when we should have pressed the advantage. We probably could have won the game right here. But again, too nervous about his cavalry. We're not expanding. We're not getting outside of our base. And so now we're going to start to move up. We're starting to mass some troops out here. We now have 44 military units. He has 0. We are in the Imperial Age. And so we're going to move out, and we're going to see if we can get some damage. Now we've discovered this castle. We're keeping the pikes with our archers to protect him from the cavalry that we expect he's got. And we're going to run him off of this stone here. We're going to try to kill a few of his villagers. So we're trying to smooth out that eco lead a little bit. He still has 24 more villagers than us. He's trying to build a university right here. We're going to take out that villager, but we can't take them all out. And we're going to come back now. Again, we're anticipating that he's got cavalry out here that we're scared of, but in reality, he has none. And so we're going to start to build trebuchets here. So we can try to treb down this castle and start to get into his base. As you can see our idle eco time down here, we have 47 minutes of idle villager time and 46 minutes of game time, which is bad, but he has an hour and 3 minutes. And so he's not making the most use of his eco lead. And so we're just continuing to boom back here. We've got some monks now that are healing some of our troops, and we're going to start trying to pick up some relics to generate gold for us as we get into the late game, as our crossbowmen take gold to make, and gold is a finite resource. And so we already have 1 relic. And now we are headed for another one. So he's coming around here. He's going to grab that one. We're also dropping a town center out here on this gold. So we'll have 4 town centers now we can produce villagers out of as we really try to start closing this villager gap. So the monk has the relic. He's headed back. Meanwhile, we're creating 2 more trebuchets. Once we get 3 is when we want to go out and attack. We want to have him masked so he does not have the opportunity to respond to us. We've got tons of resources. We've almost got enough that we can drop another castle. So let's speed it up a little bit while we wait. And he has just now advanced to the Imperial Age, and so we are well ahead of him when it comes to technology, when it comes to units. And so now we're going to move out with our trebuchets and we're going to try to take down his castle. So we've got our pikemen out front. We're going to try to hold him off. We've upgraded our crossbows to arbalesters or arbs. And so we're going to try to take this castle down quickly. And we see that he's got a bunch of light cavalry, a bunch of upgraded hussars that are coming out, and they are going to try to snipe our trebuchets. And so our upgrade to halberdier comes in just in time, and this is a really bad engagement for him. We take down the castle. He's going to lose everything here. As hussars just they can't deal with a ball of crossbowmen or arbalesters like this, and so we pull back. Now we should be pressing our advantage, but we're not. Again, we still think there might be something up here, and so we're going to wait. We're going to build some more units. Right now, we're just happy that we have control of the hill. We took down his castle, and we're going to continue to mass halberdiers and arbs right now. And so you can see we're dropping some barracks, we're dropping some archery ranges and some stables out here so we can start mass producing units as resources are no longer an issue for us. We have plenty of resources, and we're going to take down this stable, which will allow us to get into his base if we decide to go raid. So we've got a couple of monks here so we can heal up our troops, and we're just going to let them start taking out houses right here. We're going to let the trebs keep firing, and we're going to see what happens. How is he going to respond? You can see his villager lead is dwindling. He's got 106 and we have 99, but he is catching up to us in terms of military production. And so right now we're just content to continue to boom our eco and mass troops and wait on him to make a move, knowing that he has to attack uphill against us. So now we're going to move out. We're leading the way with our halberdiers because we know that cavalry is around here somewhere. And we're going to go hit his wood line here and try to snipe as many of his villagers as we can. So now we are over 100 villagers. He is down to 101. We're now tied. If we can snipe 2 more villagers, we'll get him back below 100. And that's when we're going to come around the corner and we're going to realize that he's got a castle and he's building a base out here. So we run into the castle. That's a quick reaction to get away from it. We don't want to take on a castle with our crossbowmen, so we're going to come over here and we're going to pick off a few more villagers. He is now officially below 100 villagers, and we're going to fall back as we see skirmishers, which is a hard counter to archers. We see a big group of skirmishers on the way. And so now we have teched into hussars, light cavalry of our own. We're going to start to raid into his eco. We're killing villagers. It's a bloodbath. Here come his units. His hussars are better than ours. They have better upgrades, but that doesn't really matter. Hussars are what's called a trash unit. They only cost food, and we have plenty of food, and so we can spam hussars into his base and to help deal with his skirmishers. Meanwhile, our halberdiers are over here. We're taking down his siege workshop. We don't realize there's villagers on this wood line. If we did realize that, we would have gone after them. And now this is the moment of the game. He has a group of 29 hussars headed to our base, and I do not realize that there's a hole in our wall right here. This is where it becomes important that once you hammer the foundation one time, it's impenetrable. We recognize it in time, and our villager gets the house down. He dies a hero. They will sing songs about him for eternity. We will erect statues in the town squares. We prevent disaster that would have come with him getting into our eco. And we have time to pull our army back, and it's just going to be a massacre of his hussars. He's got no chance. It's a food unit, a trash unit against a gold unit, and then we also have halberdiers, which are hard counters in front. And so we come out of that almost completely unscathed, but only because we realized that he was about to get into our base. So we come back to the front now. You see he's down to 44 military versus our 97. We have a 14 villager lead. And we are at the population limit, which means that we need to continue to attack, because it does us no good to sit at the pop limit, be pop capped, and let him get back into the game. And so we've got some more hussars here that we're going to start to send out on raids as we start to move our military back. And he just unpacked a trebuchet. He's going to try to treb down our castle. So he's going to force us to react here. We're going to be forced to come in and engage. We are fighting downhill, and skirmishers are not particularly good against light cavalry. They are good against archers. And so we get his trebuchet. He does almost no damage to our castle. He's going to lose that army. And here come his light cavalry, which again is better than ours, but with our arbalister support and our pikeman support, he has no chance to win this battle. As you see, his numbers just in free fall. We move our trebuchets up. We're going to continue to push his base here. In reality, he should have focus clicked onto the trebuchets. He probably could have gotten over there and done some damage, but he doesn't do it. Now he does, but it's a little bit too late. He is going to pick off one of our monks, which is sad. We can pour one out for the monk, but we're going to come down, fight down the hill. We're going to take out his skirmishers, clean those up. And once again, we have 87, 88 military versus his 22. We're just able to recover much quicker to the population limit, and he's not able to because he doesn't have the eco. Look at the resource differences here. This is why we're able to hit the pop cap again so quickly while he's only at 100 population. And so now we're just going to move in, and we're going to continue to kill more of his villagers. We're going to continue to make it more difficult for him to rebuild his army when we take one out. And we have stopped producing villagers at 100 villagers, which is not necessarily ideal. You would rather get about 120, 130 villagers. So we're not playing this as tight as we should, but it's what we do. So we realize he's got a decent sized army right here. And again, we're a little too passive. We're going to pull back here. We are at 185 population. We're continuing to queue up forces. We've got a mass of 70 archers, which is terrifying. It's one of the most overpowered things in the game is to have that many archers all massed up together. And so we're going to wait it out. We've hit the pop cap again. We're kind of waiting on our troops to heal up and waiting on everyone to get here. And now we're going to start to position ourselves to attack again. So we're moving out. This time we're thinking we're going to come down over here and we're going to raid this camp. So we send out some light cavalry and we realize he has a bombard cannon. Bombard cannons are great for sniping trebuchets, and so we're going to just run under castle fire. We're willing to sacrifice these 8 light cavalry to take out those bombard cannons as we move our trebuchets in to try to treb down his castle. And we discover another treb. We're going to try to get it, but we run into a crossfire of castle. We're not going to get it. And this is going to be the engagement. He's got camels coming from one side. He's got light cavalry coming from the other. He has to keep these castles up. If he can win this engagement, it will do a lot to push him back into the game. As we start to move back with our arbalisters, we know we're going to lose the trebs. We just want to get the castle down. And the castle is at 600 HP. We've got one treb left firing. It needs one more shot, and it is going to get it. That castle is down, but we lost 2 of our trebuchets. And so we're going to pack up now. We're going to move back home as we see some skirmishers coming around the corner. And those small amounts of skirmishers just don't have a chance here. And so right here, we're going to try to get up on the hill, and then we're going to take out the skirmishers with that hill bonus. So we continue to just mop up his army and push him a little by little. And so we'll speed it up here. As we come back home, we want to heal up the army again. So again, you can see we're at 181 population. He is at 106. He's down to 70 villagers. Barring a mistake on our end, this game should be over. But we're as we take a direct shot from a trebuchet firing into our archers there, he's going to get a few kills, and then we're going to move up. We're going to try to take this out with our arbalisters. We're taking heavy fire from skirmishers, which isn't ideal, but we get it down, and then we're going to retreat back under our castle. And he's going to head back into his hometown. So again, we're still at the population cap. There's not a lot we can do right now other than heal our troops up. And so we should be pushing the advantage. We have 7,000 food that we're sitting on, but we're just kind of playing it slow. We're raiding here with hussars. We're going to head in and we're going to try to kill his villagers that are outside. We don't want him to get any resources outside of his base because we know we've got him pushed into his base. What we don't know is that he has begun building houses and stables over to the side of our base. And so that could become problematic if we don't recognize it soon enough. So now we've found a hole in his wall. We're going to run in. We're going to continue to raid his eco. We've got him down to 64 builders. And we're going to come into a huge group of skirmishers. He's got 50 skirmishers on the screen, and they're going to melt our hussars. They're going to go down like butter. And now he's going to try to push that advantage as his military production climbs. So he's up to 70 military now. We've still got 90. We still have the hill. We're floating enough stone to build like 3 castles. And that's a mistake that we haven't built any yet. And we're starting to drop siege workshops so we can build mangonels to try to deal with his skirmisher mass. So we're reorganizing our army, getting our control group set, and here comes the attack. So we think he's about to come up. We're trying to get positioned on the hill. We want our spearmen in front. And now we run into the big mass and we realize what's about to happen, what's about to come at us. And so we're going to fall back and we're going to begin to produce onagers, catapults that we can use to try to deal with that big mass. So we continue to sit, we continue to wait. Both sides are waiting. We are pop capped, 100 villagers, 100 people in the army. And now we've decided we're going to drop a castle, another castle on the hill here, just to help us defend against his army. Seeing that, he's going to decide to push up here. And we're willing to take this fight downhill, especially if it means keeping the castle alive. And so here he comes. He's going to run up. We're going to try to focus fire down these knights with our archers because those are the ones that are really scary about getting our villagers. He does run over to attack our villagers, but we get the castle finished and we garrison the villagers in the castle. And now that the castle's up, we're just going to run between them and we're going to let the castle fire help us out. This is a really bad engagement for him to fight under our castle like that. And not only to fight under it, but he's going to pursue us between the castles into the crossfire. And so we're just going to run away. We're going to let him do that. That's a really bad decision on his part. And you can just, he's throwing away his army here. He had a good army. He had a big army. And boom, it's all, we've still got 87 in our military. He's down to 40. We've still got 98 villagers. He's only got 71. And so now we're going to move out. We get our crossbows positioned out in front. We've got some catapults now to try to deal with his skirmishers. And here we go. We're going to move up. We're going to come back. We're trying to draw him back to the castle. He's not taking the bait, so we'll just move up with our catapult. And we're going to allow it to do some of the dirty work for us. As we get hussars behind, we're going to send them in on a raid. We're going to send them back over to this area of the map that we know he had people earlier. We're going to see if he's still got villagers over here. We split some of them around to take out this bombard cannon. And then we're going to move into his base in earnest. Catapults begin to take down buildings. We realize that he is teched into crossbows, which is an unwise decision. He doesn't even have the arbalist upgrade. And so he's just going to get dominated by ours if it comes to one fight like that. And here comes our light cavalry off of the edge. We're floating 15,000 food. We can create light cavalry all we want. Here comes his light cav. They're after our catapults. And they are going to be able to snipe those. But he's going to lose all of his light cavalry in the process. As we land a big shot on skirmishers with our catapult, we're just melting his army here. We've still got 80 in our army. He's down to 26. And we're going to retreat back up the hill. We want that hill bonus, and so we're firing down the hill, getting the extra. We still got our catapults, 2 catapults going. Here comes a whole bunch of light cavalry again. He's just throwing them in there to try to take out our siege, and he's going to, but we still got 46 crossbows here. It's a big mass. He's not going to be able to deal with that. But instead of pushing our advantage again, we're going to fall back and reorganize our army. We're starting to mix some knights in now because we have gold, and we think that that's going to do a better job for us. And so let's speed it up again now. We noticed at the last second him building a castle up here, and that would have been a disaster for us. We get the castle at 93%, and then we decide to drop our own castle right next to it. And so this is the end game now. As we move our trebuchet back up, we're going to start wiping out his base that we just now realized was here. We're going to build that last castle. And with a 7,000 point lead in the score here, we know this is pretty much over. As we realize he's raiding our eco back here. It's a really slow reaction from us. We should have recognized that long before and not lost those villagers, but there's a lot going on. And at the end of the day, honestly, we know we've got such a big lead here. We're not terribly concerned. But now he's headed into our base. And we have holes in our base. Holes that we never fixed. And so we're going to try to fix them. We're going to try to drop walls here, but we definitely don't have time to build those walls. She's going to die. They're going to get into our eco here. And so we're forced to send part of our army back to deal with that. So we send our cavalry, but we're going to advance our archers into his base anyways. So we ring the town bell. All of the villagers run and hide as we send our army back to mop up that aggression. And the whole time, we're just going to continue to push his base here. So we know that he doesn't have much left. We've killed a lot of villagers. He's down to 69. We're down to 77, but we've floated so many resources, whereas he is out of everything. We know it's really only a matter of time as we click back home and we're mopping this up. We get our villagers back to work. And we can see that he's snuck some people over here that we're going to have to deal with. So we're just moving into his base. This is his last hurrah, his last little chance with the army here. And we're just going to take them out with our ball of arbalisters. Just continuing to mow him down. We still have 90 army. He is down to 21. We're going to pull back out of the range of that town center there as we send our knights over to massacre his villagers there to deal with it. And we're trebbing down his last stable. So he doesn't really have the resources to rebuild his stables. He doesn't have the resources to rebuild his army. And yet, once again, we're going to pull back here and we're going to try to regroup our whole army together. So So we'll speed it back up again. And there, the GG is called. That is the end of the game. Half and half is victorious against an opponent that's rated about 150 ELO points higher. One of the better games that I've played so far, which is a low bar. I'm still really struggling with all the multitasking that has to go on. But we're going to get there. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you did, and we can make this a recurring thing where I'll go through some replays and cast them and talk about what's going on, because I'm definitely not good enough to talk while I'm actually playing. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did, and we'll see you next time.